Howdy howdy, welcome back to my channel. My name is Dinah Chu here at SLOWGAZE. Yes, if you've been here before, you know this was one of the first products that I reviewed on my channel, and so I am so glad to introduce its nude sister here, and we're going to be reviewing Le Rouge and Le Nudes here on SLOWGAZE. So if you are interested in clean beauty, if you're interested in mindful consumption, just being on the journey of decluttering, minimalism, and essentialism, consider subscribing. I'll be here hanging out with you. And I'm so excited about this video just because, like I said, it's like a reprise of one of my first YouTube videos ever. I actually uploaded it 10 months ago, so I will link that down below. It's actually another deep dive into this, but I will be swatching all of these shades here. I will be swatching all of these shades here and comparing the two, giving my editorial recommendation as to which I think is better. I also think that these two will come into the conversation. These are the super loaded tinted highlights in Pot de Soleil and Pot de Pêche, and I'll just give you my thoughts on those four products in general, but mostly focusing on the new Lip Suede Le Nude. So before further ado, we might as well dive in. I also have a couple of WESTMAN Atelier shades to address and swatch in comparison, especially since the two colors that I have in her Baby Cheeks blushes are also kind of represent a nude and a vibrant going out color, so I thought these would make really good bed sisters, bedfellows. Nude lipsticks and liquid lipsticks and lip balms that I think will be really useful when we're talking about the Le Nudes Lip Suede. So let's dive in. Thank you so much for clicking. I'm so glad to be here. Let's just get into it. This beautiful, compact, excuse the ring light, but it is in this beigey, creamy color. It's like a blush toned, kind of neutral toned pink. I love it compared to all of her other ones. This just feels like an enamel dream, like it just fell out of the sky and onto a beach. It still has the exact same kind of weightiness. I'm sure it's the exact same capsule as all these others. My main gripe is that it's difficult to open with one hand, let alone two. You can see that the interior ring, this one has a soft gold, some of them have deeper metallic shades. From the top, we have mulled wine, then cafe creme, peony, and warm rose. It's described as a really intuitive palette, and I can definitely see that because I feel like I would live mostly in these lower ranges, the warm rose and what are we working with again? The peony. Or if I wanted to lighten it up and work with the center of my lips and give a little more dimension, I would use the cafe creme. And then the mulled wine is like another level of intensity, but also it cools all the other shades down slightly and kind of works almost as a stain. It also works as lip liner if you have more melanated lips. I actually have pretty kind of pink tone, but mostly brown lips. They do have a bit of mauve in them, especially during winter time. So do take into account the color of your natural pigment. Matters with this particular palette because these seem to be more sheer. They're also described as more plumping, and you're supposed to feel like your lips are hydrated, nourished, which I think is more of a talking marketing point for this palette than it is with the original Lip Suede that are more meant to be suede and like a stain. We'll talk about it and get into it, but first, just like my first video, I'm gonna take all these shades and just pick up a little bit. I don't know if a brush would even work. You can see that there's a little bit on there, and just add a little bit to my cheeks so that there isn't a bareness to them. They do feel more like a balm in this way than anything, and you can see that I'm working and kind of building some pigment up, but it's mostly about that juicy kind of plump hydration than it is about pigment. Hand swatches, and I will try to do them larger than just little stripes. So I'm just going in with this bottom one, Warm Rose. And if you can see on my finger here, it's quite translucent. It almost feels like a balm. And this is where I think it's way more about the texture. It's so nourishing, it's so comfortable on the lips, and it really does work with your natural lip tone than it does with the pigment, like I mentioned. So it can sheer out to almost nothing. The second shade almost doesn't come up. So again, let's see if we can replicate that. So this is the first shade, the Dusty Rose, and then I'm picking up with my middle finger this Peony shade, Dusty Rose, Peony. Again, it really, really depends on your own lip tone. So Dusty Rose here and Peony. Peony is going to give you actually quite a cool toned look, but it doesn't have that, it looks a little pink in the way that it has a lot of white in it, but it's not too ashy, which I think was kind of an issue when I opened this and I was like, how is this working with every single lip color? I think it has to have enough white to show up under deeper skin tone, so it's not merely a lip tint, but it also has to not look ashy. It might be different than anything else on the market, because if you can hit that tone of lip gloss, lip balm, but also lipstick, and work for deeper skin tones and show up in a really beautiful creamy way, oof, that's really hard to hit. So I think it's a pretty audacious product. So here I am again, one more time, picking this up, this Peony up, just to see if I can get it to swatch on my hand for you. It might not get there. It really might not. And we will move into lip swatches in a second. This Cafe Creme, it is so silky. It's not mousse-like, it's a pretty dense product. You can't like press down on it or anything, and it's not a whipped texture. This Cafe Creme color barely shows up, and I'm getting a bit of, you can see my watch tan. I'm getting a summer tan going on, so it's kind of hard to even see that. Again, I'm gonna do my best to do lip swatches, and that's where I think it'll be more indicative, but that was Cafe Creme, and then now we have mulled wine. So that is the most pigmented of the colors. It's a true rusty, reddy brown. It does have some purple in it. It's a really nuanced color. I think they're lovely when they're mixed. I had tried just doing this whole universal swipe going all across all colors. Let's see what that even looks like if I did that. Then you can get this nice dusty rose if you wanted to. So it is highly intuitive in that you can kind of see what you want and just tint the color of your lips. Let's move in to the bottom shade. So I'm going to go in quite a bit with my finger and just using this small mirror. It's basically the same color as my lips, this dusty rose. Gucci Westman herself said that that was her go-to color, and I know that people say it, your lips but better, but can't you see just how it's like a skin tint in that it kind of picks up on the colors that I have on my lips already, but it just evens everything out. So I don't have that brown ring around my lips. I don't have color variation. It's just giving me a little boost of rosiness, which I think is really lovely here. It does feel like a balm. It just melted in. You're not seeing any like white crackly lines. You're not seeing any delineations if I go a little bit messy over the lip lines. That is my true like, hello shade. This is me. I was born this way. I feel like it would work for many other skin tones and lip tones as well. Peony shade, that creamy pinky shade. This one just feels like it's not showing up on my lips, but I think it's really nice. See how nuanced that is? It's actually giving my lips a little bit of a cool down. Not really a lavender feeling, but it is bringing them back in space a little bit by lightening them up. And again, not seeing any lines of demarcation. It's not settling. It does feel really, really comfortable. It's kind of like lip oil slash lip balm. And I am in a really warm room right now, but oh my goodness, I love wearing this, and it's just the most comfortable feeling. And I also feel like I look really, really polished. What do you think about this color? I think it's quite special, actually. I can see this working really well on a lot of other skin tones. Maybe not someone with an olive complexion, because it's not like going to bring out the true rosiness in my cheeks or anything, but I can see this being really great for fair skin tones or people who have more cool tones in their complexion. So let's wipe it off. Let's go into Cafe Creme. Actually, can you tell? See, even just putting that a little bit on the center of my lips can give it this illusion of definition. It's quite cool, and it's not going to make me look dead. It's not going to give me true concealer lips, which I was worried about. This is way more comfortable than I thought it would be, and it's very neutral. I'm not pulling too peachy, it's not pulling too pink. I am picking up a little bit of milkiness on like some lip flakes that I have, but that's really about it. I think this is a true game changer shade when it comes to mixing these if you want to tint a little bit, but just wearing it on its own, I feel really like Gucci was saying Maud, you know, Bridget Bardot, just a little bit concealer lips, but without it being 6 feet under. Go into Mulled Wine. Give my lips a nice definition. You can see that I'm going back in and just kind of building the color. White shirt just sets it right off. It just gives my whole complexion a little bit more balance from top to bottom, and it's really flattering. I can see a lot of people with this type of redness in their skin to really work with this color. Yeah, not something that I want to wear every day, but it's almost like a nude red. If someone wanted to wear like a bricky, almost berry toned, but wanted it to be cooled down a little bit, they could wear this. So that's Mulled Wine. I'm going to show you how I like to wear this palette just as is really quickly, and then we'll move on to the next palette as well as some comparisons. So usually I go into the Dusty Rose shade, which is the bottom, and I just give my lips a little bit of a tone. Then I go in with the top shade, which is the Mulled Wine shade, and I focus it around the perimeters, the corners and such, and just giving them a little juiciness. Then I go into the Peony shade, which is that nice baby pink, and just going over everything I just put down. And finally, yes, the Cafe Creme. Just really stunning, and I'm sure you'll get a whole different effect with a lip brush. I don't like using lip brushes. I think they're quite fiddly, and I just think it's so much fun to finger paint. You can get a little bit of definition, you can get a little bit of variation in the colors, but honestly, they're more like a tinted balm than anything. They aren't going on ashy, they aren't going on and then caking in your lips and drying out and you're left with this like white chalkiness. They're really, truly nourishing. I feel like this is what I was expecting from this palette here, which is not the case. This, when you read the marketing copy, they talk about the colors and the vibrancy, and I'm sure they're formulated similarly. I'm not going to claim that they're the same ratios, and I can't imagine why they would be. After using it for about 10 months, and I had decluttered it, I think once or twice, and just couldn't bring myself to let go of it. I'm glad I didn't, because here we are again, being able to compare the two. Way more drying. I don't reach for this. I reach for my bullet lipsticks. I want a different finish out of my lips, especially for a red lip. I want something blotted and almost matte. This is giving me a nice suede look, which is why it's called lip suede, I imagine, but it's giving me the dryness with it. I guess they are versatile. You can get really nice fuchsias. You can get this poppy red. It doesn't go too orange toned, but it is quite vibrant, almost neon. If you watch my old video, you will see me mention that as well. This middle tone, which looks a lot deeper in the pan, reads like a true blue classic red to me. Vivid fuchsia shade. I'm gonna leave a little room because I want to show you Poppet. This is that true classic red that I was describing. There's a little bit of grip to these as well. You can see that maybe they're moving the pigment around. Every time I move it, it's wanting to move with my fingers, so you really have to kind of work these in. It feels drier immediately. They're still emollient, you're still picking up the oils, but I feel like the oils get absorbed. Mauvey, purpley shade. What you're left with is the pigment itself, which starts to dry your lips out. So again, we have that fuchsia top shade. This is that red shade, and then the bright tomato shade. Give you a little bit more of that as well. See how you can build these up and really deepen them if you want? Oh yeah, that's punchy. And let me go in with Poppet. This is Poppet. It does not joke around. I think it has a lot more purple, magenta, like true magenta in it. But let's see what it looks like next to this wild fuchsia shade. Yeah, definitely more blue. You can see it's more cool toned. I think it actually works really well with olive skin tones, but this one works even better because it has a little bit more just vibrancy and punch. If you are into nudes more, I highly recommend the WESTMAN Atelier. If you're more into reds, however, or bright punchy colors that sometimes you don't know if you want to wear this red or this purple or this deep aubergine vampy color, and you want the ability to choose as you go, I think it's a good candidate, but please know that there are better formulas out there, maybe not on the clean market, that are in this type of packaging. I would say if you're into reds and you want a clean beauty alternative for this, obviously I'm just going to recommend ones that are in their stick formula in the bullets, but Ilia's gorgeous. They have even more shine to them. I am going to give you a quick swatch of all of these beautiful shades combined. Painting class here, and it might depend on how you mix them. This is the kind of shade that you're getting. So very red tone. It does stain a little bit. I would say watch out for that. If you're looking for a true lip stain and you don't mind more of a dry feeling, really into clean beauty, you really want a suede, almost matte finish, consider it. Is it worth $85? Recommendation after 10 months of use with this is still no. I do in some ways regret buying this. Now that I have it, I am going to try and cherish it more. Still mad at the packaging. This little clamshell lip is a little bit difficult because the indentation right here is so shallow that I feel like I can't really pick it up. And I'm just gonna dig my fingers into the product once I open it up. So don't like that. I also don't love that this mirror doesn't show me my entire face. I feel like that's the prerequisite for any compact mirror. I have to hold it really far from my face to give like a little semblance of a cutout window. You can see as I've been wearing this concoction this whole time, only smoothed out and warmed up with my skin as well. It's not feathering, it's not bleeding, still super comfortable. I don't know how it's retaining all that moisture. Gosh, really excited about it. So before we move on, I know I'm jumping around a little bit, but I think it's kind of just fun to play with all of these. I'm gonna go in with Chouchette, which is WESTMAN Atelier's kind of nudie peach. Sorry, I shouldn't call it nude because that's really subjective. As I said in a previous video, I should just call it by its true like pigment hue name. So I'm just dabbing it in and you can see that it's immediately just melting into the skin. It's giving me a really nice finish, maybe a little bit too glossy for some. I live for it. I just look like I woke up from a whole year's sleep, which is all I did in 2020. How about you? If you haven't seen Chouchette, I would say that there's no shade that's comparable in the lip suede, right? We're looking mostly at that peony shade, but that's far pinker. There's no like true orange shade. So I feel like that's the only thing that we would be possibly missing with this. I think this is way more cool toned than anything, but actually it works really, really well for all the skin tones because I think it needs to be more neutral, maybe a little more cool toned because I think that's how the lips usually work. I don't think people have like naturally peachier lips. They might have more purples or like I said, browns as undertones. I wanted to show you these super loaded tinted highlights. This is Peau de Pêche, my favorite product from Gucci Westman before I got this suede palette, this nude suede palette. And it's just giving me dewiness, it's making my skin look luminous, and it stays that way. It doesn't just fade out. Peau de Pêche nudes, these two are my favorite Westman Atelier products. Prove me wrong, tell me what your favorite is. Have you tried her squeaky clean lip glosses? I also bought her Peau de Soleil after buying her Peau de Pêche. And this for me works really, really well in the summertime for my skin tone. So I'm just gonna load up on the super loaded tinted highlight, that nice golden pop, without it feeling like I'm just tinting my skin and it looks like a stripe of gold or yellow or brown. It actually works really, really well on my skin tones. And these are the two loaded tinted highlights, Peau de Pêche and Peau de Soleil. I use this almost every single day. Whew, cool down for a second. Oh my goodness, sweat drip off of my face. You can still see just how luminous I am. I wanted to show you next what nude lipstick usually looks like on me so that you can get a sense of how special these products are. I am going to be doing a full video of nude lipsticks. My favorites, because I'm so excited about it. I have the Lawless one, which I think is a good comparison. This is in the shade Fawn, more pigment to it, not as much slip, and it is already giving me a little bit of milkiness, has a waxy texture. If you're looking for an opaque lipstick, I don't think the lip suede is for you. If you're looking for something that really tints the lips a few shades lighter, which is something, like I said, that's kind of special without it looking too crazy. I think the lip suede is really the way to go, but I just wanted to show you what it might look like if I were to wear like a more traditional lipstick. Lawless, I think, does abide by quite a few clean beauty rules. I think I'm going to keep this segment short. You kind of get the idea. I think it's working really nicely with the Chouchette. One more before we move on to the reds. Fenty Beauty's Lip Slip Shine Glaze. While it's not really going to tint my lips up a shade, it is what a lot of people would consider to be a nude. Give it a pretty heavy swatch there. This feels like it can build up to a really thick viscosity. The WESTMAN Atelier ones do not have a scent. Definitely a peachier hue, working also just as well with the Chouchette, actually. Has a hint of shimmer to it. Neither of the WESTMAN Atelier have shimmer to it. Just as comfortable. I do think that I prefer the WESTMAN Atelier. That one, it feels thinner. It's not like a lip balm lip gloss. It's in between, like I said, a lip oil and a lip balm. Not waxy like the Lawless one, and it's definitely in a cooler combination. Let's move on to the red. I did do swatches on my old video, but I thought it would be just nice to reprise it, especially since now, after 10 months, I feel a little bit more confident. I'm not gonna say I am confident, but I feel more confident on camera. I'm also not having to film 10 million times just to get 3 minutes of film. I'm also not filming on my iPhone 7. This is quite a bit of pigment, put on maybe 2.5 coats, I dare say. How demi-matte that is compared to, let's say, my lips. I mean, my cheeks. My lips compared to my cheeks. That's the suede look that I think WESTMAN Atelier or Gucci was really going for. This is the mauvey shade right here that really just looks like a true purple. It's very plummy, but it has a lot of blue in it and a lot of white in it. So it really is more used, for me at least, as a tinter for the other colors. I don't like using this just on its lonesome. What do you think? Honestly eager to take that off. It's like a frosted grape color. Next up, we're gonna go in with this nice, bright, fiery tomato-y red. Ooh, look at that. This is the fiery tomato shade. I don't think it's overly orange. I don't think it's gonna pull coral. And again, I'm really smushing it into my lips. Same finish. Really a classic red, really brightening of the complexion. I don't think it makes my teeth look too ridiculous or too yellow. It has like a neon base, so it feels really, really vibrant no matter what color your lips are, which is, again, pretty special. Hats off to ya, Gucci. What do you think of this shade? It's actually one of my favorites in this palette. I went ahead and I put on this other shade for you just because my camera is overheating. I really want you to see all of these shades before the night is through. This is that deep, vampy shade that looks, like I said, pretty classic red to me. It doesn't look quite so deep as it does in the pan, and it's just giving me that really nice, very opaque, but also stainy kind of blossomed lip color. It's like that Just Bitten red. I would say it has a little bit more blue. It's more on the blue-red shade than it is on the brown red shade. It's not too bricky. Very wearable for someone of my skin tone and the high contrast of my eyes and my hair. This just gives me a little bit more anchoring in the bottom of my face. So this is my other favorite color on here. But the last one, this vibrant fuchsia, is also a sleeper hit. So let's move into that one. I'm gonna take this off camera and put that one on off camera as well. Be right back. Okay, we have it, the last frontier. This one right there. Right there, right there. What do you think? All right, I guess that's the one that I'm gonna end with, and I think it actually works pretty well with this nice green background. I still think if you can go with a traditional lipstick route, go for that before you get this palette. I'm so excited that you clicked on this video and that you enjoyed, hopefully. If you did, please leave a comment down below. I love reading all your comments. I may not get back to every single one, but I do read all of them. So let me know down below what colors you liked. If you're thinking of picking up any more at WESTMAN Atelier, let alone this Le Nude palette, I know that they're sold out pretty much on her website. I think I was able to sneak in on credobeauty.com. Yeah, hit me up, let me know if you bought it. Let me know if you're thinking of buying it. I have some declutters on the way. I do have other announcements coming up in my life that I'd love to share with you this coming week, so stay tuned. Again, if you'd love to stick around more, hang out. I talk mostly about beauty right now on my channel, but I'm trying to move into more mindfulness, productivity. Productivity is a really hard word because we are human and we're not meant to be productive animals. You know, we can produce, but I like to think that we're creative animals, that we're social animals, that we're loving and discerning animals and playful animals. So productivity just isn't a very exciting word, nor does it feel like it's entirely appropriate because we're not machines. I'm not going to be making productivity videos in the way that they exist on YouTube. I won't be telling you how to schedule your life. I will be looking at my own schedule, seeing what kind of habits I'm into just because I've learned them, trying to unlearn a lot of things. Yeah, there's so much in store. Please stick around. I'd love to see you back. Maybe I can just show you really quickly what it looks like as a stain. There you have it. If you like this, please share it with a friend, like, comment. All of that really helps my little channel grow and I really appreciate it. If you also want to support my channel, you can buy me a coffee, and if you don't know what that means, I've linked it down in the description box below. Basically every single thing that I usually talk about or what I wear, I try to list down below. I'm also on Instagram at SLOWGAZE, and that's it for me. Adios.